Where does it normally come from?
I think that's game already, right?
Attempt to enter battle phase.
Maybe he has enough here.
This is game, right? Because 5600 when you crash the LZ.
I will go ahead and attack with Saint Azamina into your 2800.
Yep, the damage is reflected.
It's funny, Rehan also
Wait, can Saint Azamina be destroyed by battle?
The Ilya Silva does double damage.
Oh!
Yeah, so it's just going to be able to attack with the Saint Azamina, and that's going to be enough. The 56 attack with the LZ, and the damage is just reflected, just like the World Championship this past year when we saw Ruben win with Yugioh.
Okay.
Undefeated with the sweetest deck we've seen
so
far this weekend.
If they attack with the Saint Azamina first,
I love Saint Azamina. I'm so
wouldn't that be destroyed by battle?
Yeah, when you're going second with the White Forest deck, that is a legitimate card.
And then...
And yeah, the subversion on the detonator. Like, oh wow, it just we're talking about the one card.
Am I the one who's mixing things up now? Am I tripping? Or was it not game because they attacked with the wrong one first? Like, because this is only game if this double this cannot crash first, right? Or am I tripping? He attacked with LZ, but then the LZ should not be there anymore, right?
He's at 28, so he just needs to get one more monster with 0 attack to attack into that duo drive.
Where does it normally come from?
We're about to find out.
Attempt to enter battle phase.
Maybe he has enough here, just attack, and then attacking over and attacking directly with the Ilya Silva.
I mean, yeah.
I will go ahead and attack with Saint Azamina.
Okay, the LZ did not attack. The LZ did not attack. Just the Saint. So the way this goes, right, is Saint Azamina crashes, gets destroyed, is gone, and then there's no more reflect damage happening, right? That was not game.
Your 2800.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, they probably even win if like they probably win even regardless because there's no follow-up for Jonathan anyways, and they have an Omni negate. They can make like Chaos Angel out of these two in main phase 2, banish the duo drive, have an Omni on the field. It probably doesn't matter. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing something here.
It's funny, Rehan also liked playing Yubel. I believe he got second place with Yubel.
The Ilya Silva does double damage.
Oh!
Yeah, so it's just going to be able to attack with the Saint Azamina, and that's going to be enough. The 56.
Well, anyways.
And past that point, given in the situation, if he did happen, or if Jonathan happened to have a Mitsurugi ritual in that position, that would have closed out the game, but Rehan put him in the position to better have it.
Yeah, better have it. And he did still, even if he had the Mitsurugi ritual, he had some other follow-ups to play, but the ritual would have definitely helped him progress his plays on top of that as well. But, you know, my hat's off here to Rehan, you know, because I'm wearing a hat. But if I did, I would take it off because that was excellent. Pretty much every time we're, like, picking feature matches, always around this time in the tournament.
Yeah.
Round 5, round 7, we find, like, that undefeated White Forest player. They almost never disappoint in the feature match because the deck is really cool when piloted correctly.
Yeah, it takes a lot of decision-making to play White Forest.
Is the reflect damage actually doubled? I asked the same question when I was playing Master Duel last week. Most people in chat said yes, it is doubled. I am not I have not tested it on Master Duel. I think it is, but I'm not 100% on it. In Master Duel, it is not. Okay. See, even right now, chat is like 50-50 on it. Some people are saying it is doubled. Some people are saying it is not doubled. I am not sure. Someone now is saying in TCG yes, in OCG it works differently. I do not know. I do not know, and I don't want to say something that is not, that might not be correct. I have no idea.
I know Kangas is probably excited, so let's go and toss it to Kangas. He's standing with our winner. Take it away.
Thank you very much. I have Rehan here on stage. Congratulations on your feature match win with the White Forest deck. A very unique one. We had a lot of expectation for Malice. Ryziel, what made you want to play this one today?
Honestly, I think obviously Malice is the best deck, but I didn't get that much time to test the deck, and White Forest is a deck that I've been playing a lot on Master Duel for the past couple of months. I played the deck on the TCG like pre-support as well. So it's just one of those things where, like, you know, you come to an event and you just want to be something, you know, be on comfort rather than learning a new metagame. And especially because, like, it's release weekend, there's like so many new cards to the deck. it catches a lot of people off guard, especially because it's a lower deck. So you have.
It is something I want to clarify though. Especially if White Forest is now more of a thing.
There's just so many different cards for different purposes.
With Saint Azamina, you really want to know that type of interaction.
Knowledge base required when it won't be one of the most popular decks. But you said you've been playing it kind of on Master Duel. You've been playing a lot since release. What about this archetype?
It is not, and there's a ruling on it. Okay, why don't you link the ruling?
I think I gravitate a lot towards like lower decks in general. Like Brandon is one of like.
Why, if there's such an easy solution to it?
It's something about the fact that you have so many different lines that you learn the lines while you're playing, and it's really difficult for your opponent to counter.
We'll read it in a second.
If they don't know what's happening. And so it's something that is something like it's in the spur of the moment, and it's something you capitalize on because there's so much.
Okay, we have some rulings we can check out after the interview. Nivska, thank you for the raid. You're giving up already on the watch party, or what?
You've been playing for a while in a lot of.
What's up, everybody?
Like being up on stage for the first time.
It was fun. There's a lot of lights up here for anybody that gets a feature match.
Yes. Okay.
A lot of
makes you sweat, right?
Yeah, it makes you sweat. It's a lot harder than I expected, but overall not that bad. I think it's a really fun environment to be, part of.
This ruling looks like a dissertation. Yeah, dude. We're just, to all the people coming in, we're trying to solve a mystery after this interview on whether the reflect damage is actually doubled if you have Saint Azamina and Ilya Sylvia.
Congratulations on the win, Rayhan. We're gonna throw it back to the casters.
We're gonna check it out in a second.
Maybe his first in-person feature match.
Yeah.
I've definitely featured him remotely, but I guess this probably feels a little different when you're.
Yugioh as well. Thank you for the raid, dude. All the Germans giving up or what?
But his first time on stage under the bright lights, it can be stressful to say the least. But he's under
Germany. We go to bed at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. sharp.
Both, and they can help you out either way. You're just still playing Yugioh.
10 p.m. sharp bedtime.
The same. But we have some exciting stuff we want to talk about before we jump into our next round of Swiss, and that's going to be the rivalry of World Tournament.
Let's solve the mystery of this ruling. Okay. Bro. All right. How is damage calculated? Dude, lawyer game AF. How is damage calculated if Ohime the Manifested Mikanko equipped with double-edged sword battles in the following situations? When attacking directly, when it's in defense, attacked by Blue Eyes Chaos Max, when it battles... Dude, what the hell? Battle damage is determined by considering different types of effects in the following order. 1. This card inflicts double battle damage. 2. Battle damage is taken by both players. 3. Battle damage you take is also inflicted to your opponent, or your opponent takes any battle damage you would take instead. Battle damage is treated as effect damage. The player gains life points instead of taking battle damage. Battle damage becomes 0, battle damage is half, battle damage is doubled. Battle damage becomes X, X being a predetermined value. You do not take battle damage if it's more or less than X. Which means that well, what does it mean? Because so Ilya Sylvia is 1, right? This is the correct one. Wait, this is a wrong one? Oh my god. What happens if Succumbing Song Morganite is applying while Ohime or Recital Starling, whatever? I have resolved Succumbing Song Morganite this turn, and therefore, if your monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled, is applying. If one of these monsters battles my opponent's monster with 3000 attack, what happens to the damage? Ohime, when your opponent is applying, all battle damage is also inflicted if applying. Your opponent takes 3000, both players take 3000. Whoa. But okay, you guys are saying this is the wrong one, but this is the same. They both mean the same. Because this is just a more generic answer that you can apply to different scenarios. This one is just a specific example, right? Because the way it would work, and it would, in fact, if we go by this logic, it would mean that you do not take double battle damage from Saint Azamina if there's Ilya Sylvia, and I'll tell you why. So the way these apply would be in the following order, right? So this one applies first, which would mean that the Saint Azamina's battle damage is doubled, right? But the problem is at this time, this one has not applied yet. So at this point of the damage calculation, right? When 1 happens, the game still thinks that the Saint Azamina is not inflicting any battle damage because it's weaker, right? Right? So it applies while they still think the Azamina is inflicting no damage, so nothing is doubled, and then your opponent takes the damage instead. Which would mean, ultimately, it is not. Saint Azamina is 8, not 1. Battle damage is doubled. This card inflicts double battle damage. Bro, why are these two different? What is Saint Azamina? Saint Azamina. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have. Oh no, Ilya Sylvia is what we look at. Oh my god, Ilya Sylvia. Any battle damage inflicts to your opponent is no. This is this. I think this is 1. Any battle damage is doubled. I think this is 1. No, it's 8. Oh my god. But in that logic, it would have to be doubled. 1 is just this card? Okay. Well, so this is outdated or what? This is from 2024. This is why there's different opinions. This is the annoying part. This is the annoying part. Okay. Note, 01 is Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. 08 is Garura. These are different kinds of doubling. My god. These are different kinds of doubling. Okay. Blue Eyes Chaos Max says, if this card attacks, inflict double piercing battle damage. Any battle damage your opponent takes from battles involving this card is doubled. You're telling me that's different? Okay. Right, at this time, dude, why? Okay, can we talk about something else? Can we talk about why is this one a 1 and this one isn't? Why are they at completely different points of the calculation? Why is this one the first and this one 8? Who thought of this? Who was like, we're gonna make 2 different types of battle damage doubling effects. We're gonna make them almost identical, and then we're gonna make a chart. We're gonna make a flow chart of how to calculate battle damage, and we're gonna put those 2 slightly different doubling kinds of effects on the opposite end of the calculation chain, whatever, flowchart, so that it like maximum confusion is achieved. What the heck? So I guess the answer as to whether the battle damage inflicted by Saint Azamina is doubled or not while you control Ilya Sylvia depends on where you think Ilya Sylvia is on this chart. If it's a 1, it is not doubled. If it's an 8, it is doubled. And this here says that Ohime, this implies that Ohime is an 8, right? This ruling here, because Ohime does not double, right? For Ohime with something whatever, it is not doubled. Ohime is 3. Yeah, Ohime is a different one. Oh man. Okay, so why are we looking at this for reference? Because oh no, this tells us what Succumbing Song Morganite is, right? Because this means Succumbing Song Morganite is a 1? This also applies to the following cards. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken affects Saint Azamina. Yeah, but the thing is, this... I mean, we are not confused about the position of Saint Azamina on this flowchart, right? We know Saint Azamina is a 3. We understand that Saint Azamina is a 3. It's about the other card involved in the equation, right? It's not about where Saint Azamina is on this flowchart. Saint Azamina is always on the 3. We know that because it says your opponent takes damage instead. That's the thing. Saint Azamina is a 3 on this flowchart no matter how we're looking at it. The question is, where is the card that you are pairing with Saint Azamina on this flowchart? If the card you're pairing with it to double is a 1, then it's not doubled. If it's an 8, then it is doubled. And so what's the other card here? The other card is Succumbing Song Morganite. For the rest of this duel, apply the following effects. If your monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts is doubled. Any battle damage your Azamina monster inflicts to your opponent is doubled. I don't know. I feel like they read kind of similar. I feel like Ilya, Sylvia, and Morganite read kind of similar. It uses it. Yeah, okay. It uses it. What does that mean? What are you trying to say? There's the word it in that sentence. The word it makes it a 1. But this does not say it. This does not say it. This does also not say it. Man! It applies it to 1 card. Okay, so what you're trying to say... Okay, hold up. What you're trying to say is that if there is an effect happening that applies a condition to the monster, specifically the monster battling right now, it's a 1. But if there is like a global effect that is doubling battle damage, it's an 8. Yes? Sylvia is not global. The word inflict is the key. The word inflict cannot possibly be the key because the word inflict is on both cards here, and you're saying Ilya Sylvia is not the same as Morganite. Or actually, okay, are we saying it's the same as... I am so lost. Is it the same as Morganite or not? It's not the same. It's the same. I don't know, man. Saint Azamina isn't dealing any damage. It's the opponent's... Dude, everyone understands that. You are not being helpful at all. You have just answered the one question that nobody had. Congratulations. You have not been helpful in the slightest. So my problem here is that this first one reads as like, this can only be cards that have that effect for themselves, right? Like a card, the card that like, a card that says, I inflict double battle damage, right? It feels like. But then the same thing is like, Garura is an 8, which makes no, like, so Garura is not a global effect, right? We've been saying, like, I'm confused. I am confused. Bro. I think the reality is that no one could give me an answer right now that I would be happy with. There's no answer to this out. There's no potential answer to this entire thing that I would be satisfied with. Coder testing it right now. I mean, I guess the thing is though, the problem with this sort of stuff is, yes, you can test it at Master Duel, but there's always a slight chance that it's different between OCG and TCG, which I don't know if it applies to this example or not. But there's always a slim chance of you're doing it in Master Duel and it works a certain way, and then a head judge in the TCG can still say, no, it's the other way. But I don't know, man. The only thing that I do know, the level to which I have deciphered it, is that it fully depends on whether the card is a 1 or an 8. Because the Saint Azamina is in category 3 here. So if you are going in order, if you double before reflecting, then you are doubling 0, basically, right? And if you are doubling after reflecting, you are doubling the actual damage that would be inflicted, right? So if you have a 0 attack monster and you're attacking a 1,000 attack monster, like say Saint Azamina is attacking a 1,000 attack monster, if the doubling effect is a 1, then you're doubling 0 and then reflecting 1,000 later. Whereas if you're reflecting first and then doubling, then it's doubled. It's the other way around. There's no way it's the other way around. Why would it ever be the other way around? Because before you've reflected any damage, what the hell are you doubling in 1? If you're attacking with a 0 attack monster into a 1,000 attack monster, what are you doubling? If you're calculating damage, right, at that point, your damage is 1,000 to yourself. I don't know, man. I'm cooked. Why is there a pack opening on stream? The difference between Garura and Blue Eyes seems to be who deals or receives the double damage. Blue Eyes says itself deals double damage, but Garura says your opponent takes double damage. I mean, the thing is that could be the deciding factor, but we have no like confirmation that that's what differentiates 1 and 8. This is just very vague, right? Because this says like, oh, this card inflicts double battle damage, 8, and 8 says battle damage is doubled, but none of the cards actually use this phrase. Right? None of the cards actually, like, none of the cards in this equation say this. Right? This is like not specified what kind of wording means what. And look, this is specifically why double-edged. This is also why I'm right on the ordering thing, right? Double-edged sword is a 2, and Ohime is a 3 in this chart, right? This is why it's not doubled in the example that we read earlier with the double-edged sword and the Ohime. I don't know where it went. Here? Yeah. I don't know, man. So you're sending me a post to a Facebook group, the Judge Lounge, where someone's asked this question, and you think you're helping, but they're arguing in the comments about it. So your opponent would take double battle damage, in this case 6,000. Edit, I was wrong. Other answers are correct. No, it only does 3,000. Saint's effect is to reflect damage, therefore the card is not dealing battle damage, so Ilya's effect doesn't apply. See, this, in my opinion, is the logical answer, okay? Any flowchart aside, this is the logical answer, right? Because it says your opponent takes the damage that you would have taken. If you're attacking, if you have something that says your opponent takes double battle damage, that is not damage that you would have taken. Because when I'm attacking with an Azamina monster, I would not be taking double damage. So if I'm reflecting the damage that I would have taken, I don't feel like it should be doubled. I don't feel like it should be doubled based off of raw logic. But that's not exactly what this is, right? This is trying to just solve it with like a flowchart. And the flowchart is making things more complicated than it maybe needs to be, because when I think about it just logically, I think it's clear that it shouldn't be doubled. I think just logically, it's clear that it should not be doubled. I can't tell you a reason based on this thing, because this thing is hella confusing. But alas, apparently it's been tested in Master Duel and it does not double. But how this helps in determining this is beyond me. I have no idea how this helps determining whatever. Like, I guess this would help determining it if you had a better understanding of why these categories work the way they work. Like, what card goes into this category and what card goes into this category. I think that's the most confusing part. Just got here, what's happening? I think it's better. I think it's better if you're not too worried about it. Saint Azamina does not reflect damage until the end of damage calculation. The flowchart does not matter. That is quite possibly one of the worst things I've read so far. Of course it matters. It's been referenced to multiple times. It's even in this document that it is part of the flowchart. It's insane you just said that. After all the things we've talked about, that's a crazy thing to say. Like, we're talking about the steps of damage calculation and you're like, yeah, this doesn't matter. Anyways, apparently the damage is not doubled. Which, the way I interpret this chart, and it's crazy that we even have to talk about interpretations about things like that, but the way I interpret it, that would make Azamina, Ilya, Sylvia, a 1 type card. Because if it's not doubling, it means we are doubling first and then reflecting. Because if we're reflecting first and then doubling, we would be doubling the damage. Other than that, it just does not make sense to me personally. Let me know if you disagree, but I feel like if we are doubling first and then reflecting, that would make it not be double overall. Because at this point, if we're at Flowchart 1 and our weak monster is battling their stronger monster, if we are doubling my effect damage, my battle damage, we are doubling 0. Because at that point, I am not dealing battle damage because my monster is weaker. My monster is weaker than their monster, so if I'm doubling my battle damage, I'm doubling nothing. And that's 0 times 2 is 0, and then we are later on reflecting the damage that we would have taken, which is whatever the difference is between the monsters, and so we're reflecting the normal amount. That is how I interpret this. So that would make Ilya Sylvia a 1. That's all I have. That's all I have. Moving on.